So with regards to Kemi's comment is that it's very weighty, and as a public figure, he can influence opinions, politics, diplomatic engagements, and other things put together, especially as a leader in the United Kingdom. But then, it's important we try to see how we can make the best out of that, of our statement. What are the positive impacts of our statement? Is spotlighting police reforms needs. You understand? Those comments, I think, could bring international attention to long-standing issues such as corruption, inefficiency, or brutality within the Nigerian police. This can encourage Nigerian authorities to prioritize reforms and improve accountability. It can as well encourage international support. Her remark might lead to support from international organizations or government for initiatives aimed at improving police training, equipping law enforcement agencies, or enhancing oversight mechanisms. It can as well empower civil society, increasing from a high-profile figure, and could embolden civil society groups and activists in Nigeria, such as those involved in the NSAS and bad governance movements, among others. Highlighting the positive examples. You understand? In fact, I think she's been honest to start with. She's been totally honest to start with. If we look inward, it's better someone tell you the truth the way it is, no matter how bitter it is. It helps in preparing you for improvement. But if we begin to hide, maybe we begin to classify patriotism by, hiding or shining away from what we know that is really eating us like cancer, it will not help us. For example, we saw what happened about 4 or 5 months ago. 5 months ago, as the case may be, that is with regards to end bad government protests. And how many Nigerians, both adults and teenagers, juveniles, were arrested, maltreated, tortured, made to pass inhuman treatment. And until it comes to public light, just like Kemi's interview came to public light, we saw the swift reaction. But before then, some of us who are at the forefront demanding for the release of these protesters, we are seen as maybe not too, we are not patriotic enough, because some of the charges levied against these protesters ranges from arson to coup, plotting to overthrow government, felony, and some things that you imagine. If you look at the theme of the protest, end bad government, how does it relate to taking over government? They say they fly flag and so on and so forth. But then, one fundamental thing out of it is that just last week, we saw one of the judges that is sitting on the matter, who was supposed to sit on Abuja 11, but they claimed there was no date, there's no space, and the excuse is put in. But the same judge sat on a former governor of Kogi State matter, Yaya Bello. You see, that's double standard, inconsistencies. You understand? So, are we denying the fact that what Kemi said is a reality we face? My elder brother was meant to miss admission because he was about to write post-UME. On his way from East to, I think, Kogi or Benue State to write post-UME, police stopped him on the way. He was supposed to travel like today. Tomorrow will be the exam. That evening, police arrested him along with others by that Enugu-Benue border. He stayed with police until the following morning around 10 a.m. before he was released, because he was refusing to part money. Before he could get to that place, the exam is over. So, if everybody begin to tell you one experience or the other he has encountered, myself, I know how many times I have been detained. I've detained in Lagos, just for carrying Starcom telephone that I don't have the ID card. Money was extorted from me. I have been detained in Abuja here, 4 days without food and water. in Kuje. If everybody begin to tell you his experience in one way, if this that does not, I don't know how to put it. You sometimes when I look at Nigerian matters, I weep. So is she telling lies? These are stark realities. One of our comrades who is a journalist doing the work we are doing, covering protests of Shiites demanding for the release of their leader in 2020, was killed by the Nigerian police here in Abuja at Beggar Roundabout. The family are still suffering today with the children he left behind and the wife. Comments about Nigeria, especially the Nigerian police force, should not be seen as a big issue, because even those for against, especially those against his comments about his country of origin, if they have the chance she has, they will even do worse. But then, let us look and analyze why Nigerians in diaspora criticize Nigeria. Nigerians in diaspora often criticize Nigeria for several reasons, driven by their experiences abroad and their perspective on the country's challenges. Their criticism typically stems from a combination of frustration, concern, and hope for improvement. And I can highlight some of these expectations, which are emotionally connected. One is strong ties. Despite living abroad, many Nigerians in diaspora maintain deep connection to their home country. So, criticism often reflects their emotional investment in Nigerians' potential and their disappointment with the current state of affairs. Second, their desire for change. Many criticize because they want to see Nigeria thrive and believe addressing its flaws in the first step towards improvement. Now, you put a contrasting experience on one side. You talk about exposure to better system. Living in countries with stronger governance, better infrastructure, and more functional public services allows most Nigerians, because it's 9 out of every 10 Nigerians that goes out that we begin to say one negative thing about the country. You understand? So, diasporans recognizes how far Nigerian lags behind in areas like healthcare, education, and most importantly, law enforcement. You talk about frustration with inefficiency. Witnessing efficient system abroad highlights the inefficiencies and corruption they experience when dealing with Nigerian institutions. You talk about persistent issues in Nigeria, which number one is corruption. Rampant corruption across various levels of government and institutions is a frequent target of criticism, especially the forces like Nigerian police force. Lack of basic service, the absence of reliable electricity, poor health care, failing infrastructure, and underfunded education systems are often source of frustration. Now you come into insecurity. Widespread issues like kidnapping, terrorism, and police brutality create a sense of despair among Nigerians abroad who worry about loved ones back home. Now you talk about unfulfilled potential. Nigeria is often seen as a country with immense resources, talent, and potential, yet plugged by poor leadership, systemic challenges. Diasporans criticize this gap between Nigeria could be and what it currently is. You talk about their personal experiences as exhibited by Kemi Badenoch. Those personal experiences of frustrations. Many Nigerians in diaspora face bureaucratic hurdles when engaging the Nigerian institutions, such as renewing passports or handling property. These experiences fuel their criticism. Stories of corruption and exploitations during visits to Nigeria often leave a lasting impression. For example, just barely a year ago, we have on record a Dutch tourist being extorted, harassed by the Nigerian police officers along Ibadan or thereabouts. Just barely a year ago, December last year. two constables harassed and exploited a tourist. You talk about responsibility to advocate for change. Platform for advocacy. Nigerians in diaspora often feel a responsibility to use their platform to highlight Nigerian issues, especially as their voices may be more amplified internationally. Diaspora remittances are significant contributors to Nigerian economy through remittances. They feel justified in holding the government accountable. Frustration with leadership. Many diasporans view Nigerian leadership as the roots of the country's problems, citing incompetency, corruption, and lack of vision as major barriers to progress. You talk about leadership failures leadership failures are especially frustrating when compared to examples of transformational leadership seen in those countries where they reside. You talk about hope and optimism. Despite their criticism, many Nigerians in diaspora remain hopeful that the country can change. Their critique often comes from a place of wanting better for Nigeria and future generations. So the criticism of Nigerians in diaspora reflects a combination of disappointment, frustration, and a desire for a better Nigeria. Why these critics can